the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
Hi, I'm Cole McNamara, and I'm here at Skywalker Ranch, just outside of San Francisco, for the 3D re-release of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I'm here with John Goodson, who is a digital artist and model maker. And so, tell me, what did you do with Episode 1?
Well, for Episode 1, I started off doing concept models, which, I would get a sketch from the artist and take that and build it as a three-dimensional form. And then George would come in and review that stuff on a weekly basis. And we would take that thing and we would refine it until it became basically a three-dimensional blueprint. So if it's one of the pod racers, we would build a perfect scale model of what it was going to be. And then we could hand that off so they could build a full-size set piece or a miniature or a computer graphics model, whatever they needed.
Do you have like any Easter eggs that you created for yourself that every time you see you kind of giggle because, you put them
Well,
there?
the one I always think about is when I was walking around, they had the big Naboo set outside. It was the city, and it was at 1/24 scale, so like model car scale, cars this big. But they had this whole city set out there. It was probably like 40 feet square, and all these beautiful buildings with all these flowers and little plants and things. And as I was walking by it, I thought somebody would be mowing the roof of a building somewhere at all times. There'd be somebody out there with a lawnmower. So I went back to my desk, I made a little Toro lawnmower with a grass bag and a little gas can, and took it back out and set it on top of one of the buildings. And I left it there, I forgot about it. And for the next 6 weeks, they moved it from building to building during the shot. So I'm always curious, I haven't sat down and watched it on Blu-ray yet to see if I can find that lawnmower out there.
Salute, ready position. So it's my face, look at my eyes. Ooh, nice. Went right for the arm. This might be a very short combat. Here, give yourself a little more space. Come this way. Oh, nice. I think I lost a leg. Oh, that's the same leg. You lost a leg too. Oh. Now, you're not supposed to drive it through my heart. That's not sporting.
So, now tell me, what kind of fighting styles do you put into when you're wielding like a very light weapon like a lightsaber?
Well, depending on what we're actually doing, like these are actually considerably heavier than the lightsabers that we would use for choreography or whatnot. So the choreograph lightsabers that we'll use will be like a resin handle and aluminum and super lightweight. That lets us do a lot more flourishy and artistic things. And in my case, it's a combination of some martial arts, some theatrical.
So which sound are you the proudest of having created?
Well, I think for me, overall, the pod race is my favorite because it just has so many distinct different types of engines and sounds, and we really wanted each pod to represent a certain character, and George really was focused on that too. He loves like race cars and racing and that kind of fast vehicle activity, so he was very intensely focused on our pod race work. And so that was one of my first jobs on Phantom Menace. I was in my 20s and I was out recording all kinds of crazy vehicles and Ferraris and jet boats and helicopters and that kind of stuff to grab this, just to give unique individual representation to each pod.
Do any voices from the movie that you can do that right now?
I mean, like a lot of them I put through the computer, but for one of them, General Grievous, he's like a guy that says like really, he'll get really angry and he'll say stuff like, activate the ray shields and prepare for attack. And then you got the battle droids that are like, look out, Roger, Roger, like that. So two different kinds of voices there, but those are really fun, especially if they're in the same scene together. So I get to do both.
Wipe them out, all of them.
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace 3D. Only on the big screen, February 10th, 2012.